What's going on, guys? Welcome back for episode 20 of Divine Journey 2. In this episode, we should be wrapping up all of the automation for previous chapters of the quest book so that we can start getting into some Abyssalcraft. And to do that, first we're going to need to put out a couple of fires. We are nearly out of gold ingots and completely out of buffalo hide. And to solve our gold shortage, I think we're going to go ahead and get a quantum quarry. So we're going to need to encode recipes for all of this. And let's see, are we missing anything for our actuators? Doesn't look like it. Alright, start. Oh, and those were pretty fast to craft. Alright, let's try the quantum quarry. I got a feeling that we're going to be missing hop graphite. Yep. And basic energy cubes. I think I just forgot to encode that recipe. And we have a stack of hop graphite in this pulverizer. The problem is that this buffer is empty because it's all being sent over here to make industrial grade graphite ore. And once this chest fills up, or I guess drawer fills up, we'll be stocked up here and then the buffer will start filling up. But for now we can just use the stack that I took out of the pulverizer. So hopefully if we're fast enough we can place this in here, start the craft real fast, and it'll pull those items in before they can get used by those machines. There's our quantum quarry. And I've had this space set aside for it for a while now. So let's see, it won't let me place the actuator first. Okay, I can at least get the quarry down. And then, okay, so you have to place the quarry first, and then you can place the actuators. Which means I'm going to need to break in here to get that last block in. And honestly, I don't want this basalt ring around here. And there's a few different things we're going to want to give this before we turn it on. We're going to need to get an enchanted book, a biome marker, and then the filter we'll set later, but we are going to need to craft one of those. So as for our book that goes in here, we're going to want to put Rive 3 on it, Efficiency 5, Fortune 3, Smashing, and then either Smelting or Scorching Heat. These should do the same thing. And this pickaxe has Efficiency, Fortune, and Smashing. And this one has Auto Smelt, so I think that'll work the same as either one of these two as well. So these 3 enchants are good to go. And then we need to get another Efficiency 4 to combine that for Efficiency 5, and enchant for Rive 3. So let's pick this enchanter up, get our enchantment table down, start going to town. Alright, after a fair amount of enchanting, we finally have all the books that we need. So let's go ahead and combine all these up. And we'll give that to the quantum quarry. Then we need to craft up a biome marker. Oh, we don't want to use our lunar reactive dust for that. Let's go ahead and craft up some more magenta dye, and then we can craft our biome marker. And we're going to want to set that to a corallium infested swamp. So let's head that direction. This looks like the right place. So let's go ahead and right click with the biome marker, make sure that's set right, and add it to the quantum quarry. And I'll go ahead and craft an extra utilities 2 filter and an advanced power cell. And this power cell is only able to output 20,000 RF a tick per side, times 6 sides, so 120,000 RF a tick, which I believe with the efficiency 5 on here, that's how much this thing is going to use. So we're going to need to get a melodic conduit running into it, and then we're going to have the Ender energy conduits, which you can take the 20,000 RF a tick from each side, running all the way around it. Which means we're going to need a brand new power cell over here to be able to transfer all that power, which is going to be link ID 7. So now when we link this up, the quantum quarry should be full of power, and the only thing left to do is to get down a storage device. This will automatically output to any storage adjacent to it, and then we just need to give it a redstone signal to start, and you'll see that thing fills up nearly instantly. So we're going to need to start grabbing the items we want to keep and adding them to the filter. And you'll notice that one filter isn't going to be nearly enough storage, but thankfully we can nest filters inside of filters. So we can nest this filter inside of this filter and then start working on this one again. And ultimately the goal is to have this automatically output to its own drawer system, which will be connected up over here with some frame trim. And it took about 3 filters to get all of this stuff filtered in, but now we should have a whitelist for everything. And in hindsight, it probably would have been easier to do a blacklist, because as of right now, this is all the stuff that would have been on the blacklist. But it's fine, we got it now. So let's add this guy inside, remove our crate, and flip it on. And let's just make sure that everything's still going up. It is, it's automatically feeding into here. Well, it was for a second. Why has it stopped? Well, for a second, I thought it might have been the placement of this drawer controller, But what I think it actually might be is that some of these drawers are filling up already, like this redstone one. So I'm gonna get some void upgrades as well as some more of the storage upgrade tier 5s and get all of these drawers upgraded. Now all of these drawers have max upgrades and a void upgrade on them. So if we flip this guy on now, oh yeah, now we're cooking. It's kind of crazy how fast this stone drawer is going up. Like we're gonna hit this 6,144 stack limit in no time. And the last thing to do is to connect this up to our ME system. We can use a controller slave connected to the trim and then add a storage bus. And I'm gonna add maybe a priority of 500 because I want it to prioritize pulling from this before it prioritizes pulling from anywhere else outside of just the drives. And I mean, seriously, look how quick the stone is going up. Our stone is filling up almost 1,000 a second. And that seems to have fixed our gold problem, but to be honest, it looks pretty slow compared to the stone. So with the gold out of the way, we're going to start working on solving the buffalo hide problem. And to do that, we're going to use a powered spawner. But first, let's just get a flux thruster to complete the quest. Then we can combine the powered spawner and the buffalo spawner in the anvil. And we'll get this down right here next to the other one, which is already producing us tons of buffalo hide and meat. So we're actually just going to grab the drawers from up here. And now buffalo hide is a non-issue, which means we're backing up on industrial leather as well. So now we should be able to get back into automating the ender chest. But first I want to see if we can get our hands on the dark solarium jet plate. And we're really only going to need one of these, so we're just going to do these crafts by hand. First we're going to need 2 conductive iron thrusters, a conductive iron jetpack, 2 electrical steel thrusters, the electrical steel jetpack, 2 energetic thrusters, and the energetic jetpack, 2 vibrant thrusters, and the vibrant jetpack, some silicone armor plating, which we're going to upgrade 3 times, firstly into the conductive iron plating, then the electrical steel plating, and finally the dark steel plating. And then if we combine that with our jetpack, we'll get the vibrant jetpack armored, and we'll need another leather strap. We can use that to make the basic capacitor pack, which we're going to upgrade to the double layer capacitor pack, then the octatic capacitor pack, which is going to need some electrical steel plating to give us the armored variant. And we're going to need to request an ender crystal and 2 dark solarium thrusters. And with all of that, we can make our jet plate. If we put this inside of our induction matrix, that's going to cause it to charge up pretty quick. And now we can throw this on in place of our chest plate, which is an armor upgrade as well. And we should be able to fly. Whoa, this thing's fast. Almost too fast. Bye-bye, emerald chest plate. So now let's work on our inactive ender crystal automation. So we're going to set the recipe for the basic, the enhanced, and the advanced. And we'll need to dedicate a slot in the inputs for ender crystals, obsidian sticks, and each of the ender alloys. And then we'll dedicate a slot in the output for each of the ender cores, and fill the rest of it in with some random blocks. And then once we set the insert filter, we're going to start crafting each of the types of cores, and those just need to be filtered into the drawers. Since I'm not really sure where I'd want to put this automation yet, or how I'd want to do it, we're just going to do it in the end for now, and we'll do it by hand. All we got to do is right click these onto the end crystal, and that gives us the activated version, and we can start programming the recipes for the ender chest. Now if we request for one of these, the only thing we're missing is sentient enders, so we'll add a recipe for that as well. And that's going to go down here in our soul binder. And we're also going to need another powered spawner, which we're going to combine with the witch spawner and plug it in down here with these. And just like all the other ones, it's going to be set to capture mode. And now we should be able to request our ender chest. Ta-da! We have ender chests. And I think the first thing I want to use these for is to bring stuff over from the end farm. So we're going to go purple, purple, and black in the middle. And the other one will need to be linked the exact same way. So let's go ahead and do that. Then we'll set the bottom to extract. Then we're going to remove this conduit over here in the end and set this chest up here instead, which now means all the items from our end farm are getting sent to this ender chest, pulled out, and then sent into this drawer system. So I'm also going to want to remove this ender pearl drawer here since they're no longer going to come over here. Now I want to start getting a few more powered spawners set up, and we're going to do these one at a time just because of the cost of these things. So first we're going to do guardians. And when these guys die, it's going to give us prismarine shards, fish, and prismarine crystals. So we'll filter these into the drawer wall. Apparently it also gives us salmon and pufferfish, so we're going to need to get some drawers for these as well. Next we'll do blaze. And the drops for those have already been filtered in the drawer system. Next we'll do basalts, which gives us basalt's rods and pulverized obsidian. We'll get these down right here. Then blizz, which is going to give us blizz rods and snowballs. And we can get those down right here. And the last one's going to be wither skeleton. Now before we head down to put this one in, I know that this, and this are all dropped by wither skeletons, so we might as well take those down with us. And I think we'll get these down over here on this side. So now we just need to add these two things to the whitelist on the trash can. And with all of those done, we were getting to the point to where these absorption hoppers weren't able to pick up the items fast enough. They were kind of stacking up in there. So now we have 2 absorption hoppers with 2 extract sides on each one. So these are extracting out of the bottom and these sides here. But now we're able to keep up with all of our items. And the reason we did these 3 kinds of rods is so that we can replace these fluid transposers here. Because these things are just really slow and occasionally they will break. So instead we can get down 3 crushing factories and filter in the rods. But now these should be a lot faster and there's no chance that they're going to break, which means our mithril will be more easily stocked up. And we automated wither skeleton skulls so that we can automate nether stars. And to do that we're going to need a wither builder, a mob crusher, some hardened glass as it's witherproof, an ME interface, a ranged collector, a timer, an advanced power cell card, and a wither death muffler. So first we're just going to need to make sure we link our power cell card. Then down here at our mob farm we're going to start clearing out a little area. And this is going to be our little containment room. And all of these gaps in the walls, that's where we're going to have our hardened glass. But right down here in the floor, this is where we're going to need our wither builder. If we turn on the show working area, you'll see it's going to be spawned right on top of the platform, which I'm going to go ahead and put in. So this is what our room is going to look like. And then we're going to get the mob crusher down right up against this wall. And we can turn the working area on for that, but we're going to need some range upgrades to take it for the full room. A tier 3 should work. So let's go ahead and throw this in and try it out. Yeah, that ought to be big enough. Then coming out of the mob crusher, we're going to need to clear a little area because we actually don't need this range collector. I forgot that the mob crusher has an internal inventory. So we'll just run some item conduits over here to our other line. And now I've cleared out a little area underneath here. So we're going to need to snake our ME cables over from our original connection. And with that, we can add in our interface. Then we're going to set this machine to active on redstone signal and get our timer down. And we'll also need to get our power cell down about right here. Then we're going to run our item conduits from the ME interface over to the wither builder. Our energy conduits to both machines from the power cell. And a redstone conduit from the timer into the wither builder. And we'll set our delay on this timer to 600. That'll be a 30-second delay. And if we need to, we can increase that. Then we'll stock soul sand and wither skeleton skulls in the ME interface. And we'll have those sent to the wither builder on the black channel. Well, and it's working now. So let's see what happens. Wither gets killed. Drops go in here. But here's the problem. So with a 600 tick delay, it's only activating this once every 600 ticks. But each time it activates, it builds up this bar slowly. And you're going to see what I'm talking about here in a second. Rather than it just activating every time, it's going to slowly build up this bar. So it's going to take a lot longer than that. So let's actually set this back down to maybe 40. And you can see it now. The bar is slowly filling up. So I think even at like 20, this thing would be fine. Let's actually go ahead and do that. I'll set it to 20. See a wither gets spawned. And basically what we want to happen here is, one, we want to use our wither skulls within a reasonable amount, not faster than we're getting them. And we also want the wither to be killed before we spawn another one. But I think this should work fine. And honestly, we could probably even set it down even more, judging based on how fast it's going now. But we don't need a whole lot of these things. The 20 that we set up originally is enough to power our rainbow generator. So we should be good with this setup. And we'll just let the essence overflow here. You don't really get that much from the wither anyway. And we'll set up a couple of new drawers over here for the nether stars and withering souls. And I almost forgot to place the death muffler down here. I don't know which one of these modes is it actually on. But now our nether stars are consistently going up, so we're not going to need this terminal here anymore. Another thing I want to get done is getting some acceleration cards put into all of these. And to do that, we're going to need 960 for this side, and 960 for this side. Now, I did request up in between episodes 960 of them, because our buffers weren't able to craft the full 1920 or whatever it is. But now, here in just a minute, we're going to have all the ones we need. And since we have our jetpack, we can fly up and just easily put them in all of these instead of having to place weird blocks. And after about 20 minutes of clicking, I have all of the inscribers filled with their acceleration cards. And I'm not really sure how to show you just how fast it is, but let's just do maybe, let's not do 1,000. Let's do 500 crafting tables just so you can see it. Let's see where, I don't even know where these are at in here. Oh, well, there's the pickaxes, so you can see how fast they're crafting. Or if we just come over here into the terminal, you can see we're going through about 10 crafts of each of these different things a second. But I think that about wraps up all of the passiving and tech stuff that we're going to get done in this episode. Now I want to look at getting into Abyssalcraft, but before we do that, our gear is going to need some upgrades. So I want to start by making this dark armor set. And these crafts are pretty cheap by now, so we'll get the dark boots, then the dark leggings, then the dark plate, and finally the dark helm. Although at this point we don't really need the chest plate because we have the dark solarium jet plate. We just did this one for the craft. Then we should be able to upgrade each of these to the ender tier. We're just going to need a few of these guardian diodes, but it should just be easy enough to set a recipe. And then throw that into the ME interface for the slice and splice. Now we can just go ahead and request up 4 of those. And then we should be able to easily craft the helmet, the chest plate, the legs, and the boots. And it would be nice to go ahead and upgrade this to stellar as well, but we're going to need to get into bewitchment and Britannia before that. So I guess we're stuck with the ender tier for now. That's still going to be better than our emerald armor. Actually, it's a little worse than the emerald armor. But we now have the availability for dark steel upgrades, which are going to make it way better than the emerald armor. And I'm not going to bother putting any enchantments on the chest plate, just because we're not going to be using it. But these are all of the upgrades that I want to do. And to do all of that, we're going to need 23 of these blank dark steel upgrades. And these are just crafted up in the alloy smelter. And there's all 23. And the quest for these actually wants 4 of each. So I guess I will go ahead and make the empowered versions for the chest plate. So we're going to craft up 4 empowered 1 upgrades, 4 empowered 2 upgrades, 4 empowered 3 upgrades, the empowered 4 upgrades, and the empowered 5 upgrades. Then we're going to need to make a dark steel anvil. We can put that down right here. And then from within this anvil, we can start applying our upgrades to our different gear sets. But first you got to hold them in your hand and right click to activate them. That uses XP levels. Then once they're activated, we should be able to add them to the armor set. And now that we have empowered 5 on all of these, each one can hold 2.5 million RF. And now that we have those charged up, it's going to use power instead of durability each time we get hit. And charging it also makes it stronger so that we take less damage. Then I want to work on making the speed upgrades, which means we're going to need to get some potions of swiftness. So we'll need nether wart, sugar, and redstone. Then using those we can make the speed 1, speed 2, and speed 3, and apply those to our pants. So now when we run around, we're going to be moving a lot quicker. Next up, we're going to do the flippers upgrade, which when applied to our boots does exactly what it sounds like it would do. It's going to increase our swimming speed. Then we need to brew up a night vision potion with some nether wart and a golden carrot. And we can use that to make the night vision upgrade, which can apply to our helmet and give us night vision. And I'm not too sure what these inventory ones do, but they sound nice, so I'm going to make a few of them. So we'll get the inventory tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And I guess we'll just apply these to our helmet for now. Okay, so apparently it's a hotkey, and I is our hotkey, so it gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots. That's not really worth it, so I'm not going to bother putting it on any of the rest of the stuff. Now it's time to do some enchanting. I know I want Unbreaking and Soulbound on these, as well as Last Stand, but we're just going to have to see what else we get from the enchantment table. I think I have a good number of enchantments built up here, and it looks like the jet plate can't take any. But our Ender Helm has Unbreaking 3, Prop 4, Soulbound 3, so we just need to give it Last Stand and Respiration. And I wonder if it can also, if Prot can go up to Prop 5. It cannot. Okay. Then our pants have Prop 4, Last Stand 2, so we'll give it Unbreaking 3 and Soulbound. And then our boots have nothing on it currently, so we'll give it Unbreaking 3, Soulbound, Last Stand, Prop 4, and I do want to get Feather Falling on these because I don't have anything preventing me from taking fall damage right now. And conveniently enough, you can craft up Yeti boots, which have Feather Falling on them already. So we just need to extract that enchantment and combine them for a cost of 19 levels. And this should be a very, very solid set of armor now. And we can add Soulbound to the jet plate and Protection 4. I guess Unbreaking just wouldn't work because it doesn't have a durability. So let's also give it Last Stand. And now that should be perfect. Now that we have some good armor that's going to keep us safe, I want to work on getting a new weapon. And for that, I think we're going to go with a Tinker's Construct laser gun. So I'm going to need to look through this materials and you and figure out what's going to be the best option for us. In order to make a laser gun, we're going to need a tough tool rod, a pipe piece, a laser medium, and a battery cell. Alright, so after a little bit of looking, I think for our pipe piece, we're going to go with Restonia. And then for our battery cell, we're going to go with Prosperity. Okay, I need more Prosperity shards, I think. Okay, so I think we just got to switch this around because the Prosperity shards can't be used for the battery cell. So if I get the pipe piece, that'll give us Rideable. And then the battery cell, we can use Restonia, which will give us hearts and an 80,000 RF capacity. The night metal we're going to use for the tool rod. Okay, yeah, the diamantine laser medium works. So let's put all this together. And we have a base attack damage of 11 with +2 damage outside the Twilight Forest. We get bonus damage from Morgan Le Fay. Don't really understand what all that means, but it's all good. And then we have 4 modifiers, but it only has 109 durability. So maybe we do need to make a different pipe piece and just forego the rideable trait. And I think with that being said, Emerald is going to be our best bet. So let's put this in here. What do we got? 1200 durability, 11 attack, and 3 modifiers. That works for me. So then we can craft up one of each of these toolkits. And by adding these to the laser gun, we're going to get 1 modifier for each one. So now we're up to 7 modifiers. Then I think for one of those, we're going to add a diamond to give it 1 extra attack damage and some extra durability. Now I'm just crafting up some emerald repair kits so that we can repair this thing on the go. And I think we'll emboss this with a nickel pipe piece to get the critic kill. So we're always going to do a critical hit. And then for the rest of our modifiers, we're just going to spam it with some quartz for more damage. And that brings us up to 19 attack damage. And then we get +2 from, which one is it? This one, Twilight. We get up to 5 for this one. We get more for this one. and then we do plus 50% damage for the crit kill. And I think the Icicle will be a good place to test this out. Typically the mobs here have a lot of health, so let's see. I mean, it seems pretty good. Oh yeah, it's one shot in the blitz. Another thing I think would be nice to have is an item magnet from Quantum Flux. So we're going to need 2 electromagnets, and we can use those to make the ring of magnetization. Then we also need 2 amplification crystals, and we can use those to make the item magnet. And this can go into one of our bauble slots. And now items will automatically get pulled into our inventory. So say we try to drop something, it just gets picked right back up. And we can use a keybind to turn that off so we can throw things away if we need to. And one last thing I'd like to craft is a flux capacitor to keep our gear charged up while we're out and about. So let's go ahead and get the resonant tier. And I think with that all said and done, we should be good to fight about anything. So let's see what these bosses have in store for us. The first boss, we use this mysterious clock to summon them. So let's go ahead and make one of those. And the quest book says you just right click in the overworld. So let's see. Oh, yep, we got a boss. Oh, and this laser gun is just melting through him. That was easy. So from that guy, we got a sand slash, an orange heart, some ancient legs, some divine shards, and this ancient entity statue. Should we just like put this down somewhere? There, he can be our little guard. Oh my god. He can be our little guard for the base. The next boss is summoned with this Call of the Watcher. So let's go ahead and make one of those. It says to summon this guy in the nether, so we need to find a good place to do that. Well, this seems like as good a place as any. Let's give this guy a go. Okay. That's an interesting looking fella. Another easy boss down. Oh, and he gave us a bunch of netherite ingots. Too bad that's not super useful for us anymore. Then we got the Eye of the Watcher and some blue fire stone. Well, I guess we can get our Watcher statue down right here next to the other one. That was ear breaking. I don't know why, but something's compelling me to do it again. I shouldn't have done it again. And the last one needs this horde horn, so let's go ahead and get one of those. I guess we can just spawn him on this main end platform. Oh, that's pretty cool. The green Ierko has been called upon. I don't see him. Oh, something's going on over there. Okay. Well, this is a pretty cool summoning ritual, at least. How many of these things is there? Am I about to fight like 9 bosses? Oh, here we go. Okay. I guess I can just kind of kite these guys and they'll all just sit there and take damage. I already killed one of them. Killed the yellow one. I'm gonna have to go hunt down the drops for these guys. That was easy. Alright, 2 left. 2 left. Die, please. Thank you. Alright, that's the last one. Why is he's flying away? Okay. Last one. Why is my laser gun not shooting? There we go. And that gave me some Ierko wings and then a statue for each one. Guess, let's see, can we put these guys here? Yeah. Well, we got plenty of guardians for our base now. And after killing all those guys, we're supposed to make an unholy token, a divine stone, and then we pair those together to make some divine rock. And then it looks like the quest book leads to here, but we need to unlock this first, which requires always been bits, which is over here in the previous chapter. So let's program the ME system to make these cards. So the first quest wants us to get 4 memory card tier 6s. We're missing some compressed carbon. Should be able to snag that out of here. Alright, we're good to go. And that was quick. And then the next one wants us to get a memory card 12, so let's start that. Also pretty quick, not quite as fast though. Then it wants us to make this twilight clock, which we are missing blue fire stones for, and those come from King of Scorcher or the Watcher. The Watcher can only drop 1. The King of the Scorchers can drop 6, but I'm not sure how to summon this guy. So in order to be able to summon either one of those guys, we're going to need to fly around the Nether and look for some of the Divine RPG mobs, like that one. And then I think we can hold our looting sword in our main hand and our laser gun in our offhand, so that we can still get the range damage but get the looting from the sword. So we have enough purple blaze to craft this infernal flame, but we need this sword, which needs redstone ore. And I went and snagged some of that from our quarry. Now we got the inferno sword, and we can craft the infernal flame, which was a quest way back here in chapter 5. But now we should be able to summon this guy in. And about like all the other bosses, he's just going to die really easy and not put up much of a fight. Especially with this laser gun and the fact that he's stuck in the ground. Now we got our blue fire stones. And for the sake of completion, let's go ahead and craft up this golden fury with some of these drops that we got. And this thing does seem pretty cool. It uses gold nuggets as ammo, and it has infinite uses. Is that all it does, really? Let's see, does this hurt? Oh, looks like it might hurt a little bit. Looks like it might do more damage than our laser gun. I guess we can try it out on the next boss. But first we're going to need to craft this twilight clock. And we got our blue fire stones now. So that's good. But we're still missing these gelid cryotheum tanks. And I wonder, can we just fill it by right clicking on this tank? We can. Sweet. So we already have gelid cryotheum. And now we have our twilight clock. And this thing is just used to light the portals for the Abyssalcraft dimensions. And I think we're just going to put those in here because we're not going to use this building for anything else. So let's give it a go. Alright, well that looks pretty cool. Eden Cataline, are y'all mean? Okay, yeah, you're mean. What do you drop? Nothing? Okay. Oh, my. Okay. Okay, yeah, this does not do as much damage as our laser gun. Even though it says it should do more. Y'all dropping anything good? Some Eden Souls, which is needed to make Eden Aegis and Eden Fragments and Eden Blocks. Okay, let me actually just read through the quest real quick and see what I'm supposed to be getting from this dimension. So after reading the quest book, there's a temple that we're supposed to find that I'm assuming has a boss in it. And there's a gem fragment type thing that we need to craft, which uses these Eden souls in the plentiful amounts. Like we need a crap ton of them. So we're going to have to get a bunch of these, but I figure if we go find this dungeon, we'll probably get some as we explore it, and then whatever else we can farm up after. Hey, this sunstorm spawner right here, I'm going to actually mark this as well, because this is what we need. Once we make that gem fragment, this is what we need to summon the boss with it. Oh, that looks like it might be what we're looking for. Let's get over here. Alright. Bookshelves, chisel variant. Well, I know if I need bookshelves, this is the place to come back to. Medieval, Ender Alloy, Eden Dust. That sounds like it would be used for something. But apparently it's used for nothing. What about this? Eden Arrows are used for something, but not till we get to Blood Magic, and at that point we're going to have to automate it. Bunch of empty chests. What's in there? Oh, an Eden Pickaxe. Do I need that for anything? Nah. I forgot I can't throw anything. Can I get rid of this, please? Okay, thank you. Alright, what's in here? 3 chests. Industrial leather, ender alloy, and active ender cores. Okay, good on all that stuff. Oh, here we go. Levers. Well, looks like we have some kind of puzzle here with some levers. I'm sure these levers here have something to do with how we complete this, but I don't know what to do with them. Maybe this does something. Oh, it did. Ah, the top's open now. Alright, let's go down in here and see what's in store for us. Okay, looks like a maze of sorts. That looks like a way down. What do we got in here? Once you're ready, press this button to summon the sunstorm. Okay. And this boss is about easier than all the mobs that were fighting me along the way. But he's dead now. Let's see. Eden door key. What's in here? Unholy essence. As far as I can tell, there's not anything else we need here. So I'm gonna mark it as maze, and then we're gonna slash home. And we're starting to collect a large amount of statues out here. So from what I can tell, the next thing we need to do is craft an Eden chunk. So we need to make these Eden gems, which are made from these Eden fragments. And then we can craft our chunk. And it gives us a second one for free. Then we head back over to the spawner that we found earlier. And we right click this, and it's going to spawn even more of these bosses for us. And then once he's dead, he's going to drop us more Eden hearts. And we need 5 of these things from the quest, so let's go and just spawn this guy one more time. And then we kind of get blocked off right here from getting this. So I'm assuming we need to come back up here and kind of work our way down this way. So for this quest, it wants us to get a crystallized oil bucket, which is made from throwing crystallized canola seeds into refined canola oil. And the refined canola oil comes from canola oil and the fractionating still. So let's go ahead and craft up a fractionating still and a canola press. And I think we can just get these down right here. I don't know if this is going to be something we're going to need to automate or not. But we're going to throw our canola into the canola press, which is automatically outputting into the fractionating still and giving us refined canola oil. And we'll grab a bucket of that and place it down and throw in our crystallized canola seeds. Hold on, let's turn the magnet off. There we go. And then it also wants us to turn it into empowered oil, so we can put this bucket back down and hit it with some empowered seeds. And then we're going to need a fluid transposer. That won't work. And we need to put this down on some power and give it the empowered oil and then some rotten flesh. And that's going to give us Shogoth flesh, which we are going to need 5 of for the quest. Yeah, so we can go ahead and grab those out. And that actually gives us 5 more for completing the quest. And the next step is to get 1 of each of these statues. So let's see, do we have everything we need? We're missing monolith stone, which is pretty cheap. There's 32 of that. Now let's see. Statue number 1. Haster statue. Jezahar. Azathoth. Nyarlathotep. Shub Nigurath. And Yog Sothoth. And we're supposed to use these to craft a Necronomicon. And then we need to craft some Corallium infused stone, which we'll throw into the furnace to get Corallium pearls. And it looks like we're going to need some more monolith stone because this was a quest. And we're going to need to craft these monolith stones into 4 monolith stone pillars. And then we're going to need to get some black iron ingots, which is going to come from alloy smelting, dark solarium, and dark stone. So let's just start with 4, and it's 3 dark stone per, so we need 12 of these. And we'll throw that in the alloy smelter. And that'll give us 16 black iron ingots. And that quest reward gives us a crafting guide, so I'm going to go ahead and claim that. And that just kind of introduces all of the different things from extended crafting, which for the most part I know how it works, but I may refer back to this from time to time. But let's just put it in our Akashic Tome. And we're going to need 8 hardened glass, an induction smelter, and 4 mithril ingots. Those mithril ingots are going to get processed through the crushing factory to give us mithril dust. And then we'll get our induction smelter down. And we're going to need to throw in the pulverized mithril with the hardened glass. And that's going to give us hardened mithril glass. And then we can use several of the ingredients we just made to make a black iron frame. We're going to throw some black iron ingots into the compound to get black iron plates. And then we'll need to encode a couple recipes so that we can make our double compressed crafting tables. And we can combine that together to get our basic crafting table. But one of these is not going to be enough. We're going to need 3 to make the advanced crafting table. And we're going to need to throw some elevatium into a fluid transposer that has energized glowstone. We're just going to use this one down here. And that's going to give us luminescence, which we're going to use to craft a block of luminescence. And then we can combine all those things together to get the advanced crafting table. And I think we'll just place this down here for now. I'm going to go ahead and go through and claim some of these quest rewards, like the monolith stone, because we're about to use these in the crafting recipes. And in our advanced crafting table, we can make the energy pedestal, the energy collector, and the energy relay. Then we're going to need to get out 9 of this dark stone cobblestone. We're going to need to find an area to start setting up our rituals. And I think up here is as good a place as any to start with. So we're going to get down some cobblestone, and then 2 blocks away another piece, and then 2 blocks away another piece. We're going to do this on all 4 sides. And then we're going to fill in the corners as well. And those are going to be 1 block away from the center. Now if we shift right click, there we go. I think it was these blocks back here were blocking it off, and that's why it wasn't working. So from what I understand, we need to use these statues to collect PE, which is Abyssalcraft's form of energy. And in order to do that, I think I'm going to do that back here. So I'm going to clear this whole little pillar out. Then I'm going to craft up 7 more of these stone pillars. And so then I think what we're going to want to do is get an energy pedestal down with an energy collector relatively close to it. And then within a 3 block radius around this, we're going to get our 7 statues placed down. So maybe something kind of like this. Is that collecting PE? It looks like it is. You see how it's kind of like zapping from the statues to these things? So I guess the best way to charge it is by putting it on this pedestal. What if I omit the energy collector altogether and just put the pedestal here in the middle with the Necronomicon on it? Because it seems like the energy collector isn't needed with these statues here. It looks like our first ritual craft is going to need to be this transmutation gem. So I'm going to let the Necronomicon charge up while I go gather these ingredients. Alright, I got all the ingredients gathered up, and so we're just going to place these on these pedestals. I assume they need to be placed the way it says in JEI, just like this, but I'm not positive about that. And then it says it requires 1500 PE to start. So how much do we have on here right now? 1700. Okay. Well, right clicking did not work. So let's put that on there. Shift right click. Okay, it's making some weird sounds at me. Is it crafting? Oh, yes, we got a craft. Cool. And I guess I'll just put this back on here and let it charge up for the next time we need to do a craft. And the first thing we're going to need to craft with our transmutation gem is some of these shards of Oblivion. And we have the Steaming Redstone on passive, but these shadow gems are dropped by mobs, and we don't have enough of these. I think we have 2 and some change. So these shadow gems are dropped by shadow monsters, and those spawn in Darklands biomes. So I'm using my nature's compass to go over to one right now. Hopefully we can make it there while it's still nighttime. Ah, this looks like the right place. So let's see. Depths Ghoul. Did you drop them? Doesn't look like it. There's a shadow monster. What kind of gem did you drop? You didn't drop any. Well, these guys don't spawn very much. Dr. Orange, huh? Well, the sun has come up now, so I think we're out of luck on finding any more. I did manage to get a shadow monster soul vial though, so we can make a powered spawner. And I think that the way this works, because there's the different tiers. There's the shadow fragments, shadow gem shards, and then shadow gems. I think the full shadow gems are created by the shadow beast. And the one that we picked up was a shadow monster. So let's see if we can get one of these with a root summon creature ritual. So we need to augment it with these 3, and then put these 5 things into here, and then light it with the flint and steel. Oh, yes, that's what we need. And we'll give this thing 18 years to combine the spawner together. Then we can combine that with our powered spawner. And now we're getting shadow gems, which we'll add a drawer for, I think, right here. So now we can craft our 4 shards of Oblivion. And we're going to need to use those to make this Oblivion catalyst, which requires 5000 PE and some melodic capacitors and the ender core. And these ingredients we have plenty of. So let's just hope that our Necronomicon is charged up, and it looks like it is. So let's put this in here. Check the recipe one more time. It's the melodic capacitors here, the shards of Oblivion here, and then shift right click. Oh, it needs a sacrifice. Can the zombie be the sacrifice? Maybe. Does it need to die first? If it needs to be a passive mob, maybe we can grab this deer. I don't really know what the limitations are on this. Okay, it looks like that worked. Don't go too far, deer. I think he went too far. Let's try putting him in this hole. And we're gonna need to let this thing recharge again. And after crafting more of these shards of Oblivion, it has me wondering if there's a way to repair this transmutation gem. And I think if we can, the best bet's gonna be the item repairer from Actually Additions. So let's get this connected up to some power and set this guy inside. Is that doing anything? It is not. So I guess we may have to make a new one of these every time we need to craft something with it, which is a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. It's not that expensive. And while we're waiting on our Necronomicon to recharge, let's go ahead and craft another upgrade. So we should be able to go to the Diamond Wand, and then also straight to the Unbreakable Wand. I also want to go ahead and grab a second Necronomicon. And while we have the statues in our inventory, I want to go ahead and rearrange these pedestals. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Here it says, when the ritual starts, the target animal will begin to glow and needs to die before the ritual ends. But we'll deal with that in a minute. For now, let's give our dark jet plate holding 4, which is going to increase it to 180 million RF capacity. And now our Necronomicon is charged up, so let's give this ritual another go. Activate it, and then kill the deer. So now when the ritual completes, we should get our Oblivion Catalyst, which is going to be used in this next quest to make the gateway key. For the most part, we should already have all these ingredients though. We just need to process up a little more Corallium infused stone and craft the gateway key. The next quest wants us to get some of these power stone traps, so let's alloy some Eyes of Ender, Corallium gem clusters, and Osmiridium blocks. And this looks like a good place to put our next portal. Let's hop in and mark the portal. So now if we throw these power stone trackers, they should lead us to the next stronghold, which is somewhere around here. So let's use our augment spell to see if we can see it. Oh, yep, here it is. So let's go ahead and dig down. And somewhere through this wall, we should be able to find the Dreadlands infused power stone, but it needs a pickaxe harvest level of 5, which I'm assuming is what these quests are for. So let's throw some Abyssal Stone, Ender Alloy Basic, and Corallium Gem Clusters in that alloy smelter to get chunks of Corallium. And when we smelt these, we get refined Corallium ingots. And craft an Emeradic pick, an Ender Stick, and finally our refined Corallium pick, which should now allow us to break this. Then we just need to follow this quest line here to get to the quest 2 time, which I believe is the less divine RPG dimension. So let's get a Staff of Rending. And if we bring this over to the Abyssal Wasteland and hold right click on some mobs, it's going to begin to give it a charge, as you can see here. And when that charge reaches 100, we should get some Abyssal Wasteland Essence and craft skins of the Abyssal Wasteland. And we need those to make the Abyssal Necronomicon, but we're also missing Corallium Bricks, which comes from smelting Corallium Stone. And I think that's what we got here, so let's go ahead and mine a little bit of this up and craft up a few Corallium Brick blocks and about 8 Corallium plates so that we can make our Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicons. And the next quest wants us to kill a Sora, which is summoned from the Ritual of the Sleeper you can see here. And we should have most of this stuff already, except for the liquid corallium. So let's grab a signalum reservoir, and we can get our tanks down here and start filling them up with this reservoir. And finally, we're going to need to build a new platform here in the Abyssal Wasteland, and get down some Abyssal cobblestone like we did in the overworld, to make another altar. Then we just need to give this ritual a sacrifice, activate it, and kill it. And when that completes, it should summon a Sora. Once again, a pretty easy fight. And he dropped a few things for us, but most importantly, the Eye of the Abyss, which is the final ingredient for this craft of Eden blocks. So let's make our next portal and light it and head inside and mark our portal. So this is the Wildwood dimension, and for the most part it's the same as the last dimension we went to. We just have to find another dungeon. Oh, would you look at that? I wonder what this button does. Oh, it opened up a hole. I think this dungeon has 2 puzzles. Let's see if we can find the first one. That looks like it right over here. So what we need to do is go over to the other room across this glass and rebuild this exact andesite structure. Okay, so here's the other room. It's just being blocked by some of these Wildwood golems. But let's grab our andesite out of this chest and see if we can't attempt to mirror the structure over here. I think this is it, so let's press the button and see what happens. Nothing. You know what I think it is? This thing needs to be moved over 1 block. Does it work now? Yep. So that opened up this room down here, which has our second puzzle in it. And this one's supposed to have something to do with flipping the corresponding levers. Right back here in the wall there's a 6, so let's go ahead and flip that one. Oh, there's a 4. Alright, I don't really know where it was, but I just came over here and started flipping other levers to see if it was only a 3 combination code. And apparently it was, because this 2 opened up a passage right here. If you're ready, press this button to summon the boss. Well, there's no time like the present. I swear, all these bosses are easier than the dungeons themselves. And I'm out of inventory space. Well, I guess those inventory upgrades that we put on are going to come in handy after all. This looks like the spawner I need. So let's head back to the base real quick. And we'll put down our statue and craft up a Wildwood chunk, which we get a second one of from the quest. And let's spawn this boss a couple of times and see how this goes. Okay, there he is. He's above me. Well, once again, just a very, very easy boss. Alright, he's dead. And he drops Wildwood hearts for us. And we need 2 of these, so I guess we're going to have to spawn this guy one more time. Kind of what I was assuming though. And if we just kind of keep him backed up against this island, he can't go anywhere. Alright, so let's get our statue down. I don't know why, I just think it's cool to collect all these. They honestly look kind of janky right out here in the front of the base. Might have to build some kind of trophy room for boss statues or something. And now we're going to need to make Asora's dreaded gateway key, which is going to need our 4 feathers of the wild, 2 wildwood hearts, 1 of these power stone trackers, a block of steaming redstonia, and our original gateway key. Then we head back into the Abyssal Wasteland to our Abyssal altar. Okay, let's try to activate the ritual. Oh yes, now we're cooking. And that gives us our Asora's dreaded gateway key. And for this portal, we actually need to place it down in the Abyssal Wasteland. So let's get it down and head inside. This is a cool looking dimension, but it looks weird with night vision on. Let's mark our portal. We have 2 tasks here in this dimension. We need to kill some dread guards for their dreaded shards of Abyssal Night, and we need to get Dreadlands essence, which once again comes from the Staff of Rending. This process is easy enough, it's just time consuming. This looks like the guy I need to kill. Dreaded shards of Abyssal Night, got a few. Let's just snag one of these guys. And we'll powered spawner them, because it looks like we're going to need a lot of these. But before we can get these ingots from the shards, we're going to need to come back to this quest and make the transmutator, which for the most part all of this stuff should be fairly doable. We are going to need a lot more liquid corallium though. Well, that was easy. Then we'll need 9 corallium bricks, the transmutation gem, an advanced ender core, and 8 blocks of refined corallium, which is going to require 72 ingots. We have 29 right now, and 8 more chunks. So let's check the quest rewards. Oh, that's going to give us some. Oh, that's from making the transmutator. Never mind. Well, we get 2 from this quest. 8 here. And that looks like all that we're going to get from quests, which puts us at 55. So we still need 17 more, I think. 27 more. Yeah, 27 sounds right. And with the resources I had, I was able to craft up 44 more chunks. So that's going to be more than enough. So we'll get our 8 blocks and add those in here to get our transmutator. And then we can put this thing just about anywhere for now. We'll throw in our shards, and I think it needs some kind of fuel. Yep, it's running. And our powered spawner's done, so we can go ahead and combine that up in the anvil with the Dreadguard spawner. And now we have 5 Dreadium ingots. And we get 4 more from the quest. Then the next step is to upgrade to the Dreadlands Necronomicon. But for that, we're going to need a lot more Dreadium. So now I'm really glad we made this powered spawner. We just need to give it a drawer. And let's not forget the upgrades this time. But now we should have all the Dreadium we could ever need. So let's start crafting up some of these other ingredients. We're going to need 8 of these dread cloths, which means we need more dread fragments. And while I'm there, I might as well grab some dreadstone as well. The dreadstone's easy. And I guess the fragments are too, we just need to kill a bunch of mobs. Hopefully a stack of these things should be enough. 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we'll craft those up into 8 dreadium plates. And we're going to need 2 skins of the Dreadlands, and then 6 Dreadlands bricks. So now we should have everything we need to make our 2 Dreadlands Necronomicons. Then we'll head back into the Dreadlands. And we're going to need to build up another platform with a Dreadlands altar set up. And that's going to get the Oblivion catalyst, the steaming redstonia crystal blocks, and the blocks of Dreadium. And now we're just waiting on this to fill up with 20,000 PE. So while we're waiting, we're going to upgrade our Staff of Rending 2 times. First time will be in the Abyssal Wastelands. And the second time will be in the Purified Dreadlands. And now this thing should be much faster. Before we were getting 1 energy per hit. We're at 28 now, so let's hit this guy one time. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. Alright, so we're at 15 now. Let's hit this guy. We're getting 3 now. So, I mean, definitely faster. I don't know if I would say much faster, but it's going to help out. And let's check this thing. It's only at almost 13,000 right now. So we still got some time to kill. I think this brick one here has been rendered obsolete by our new quantum quarry. So I think I'm going to move this resonator here and put rainbow stone on passive. There we go. Rainbow stone is now on passive. And I guess while we're adding stuff to passive, we'll grab this transmutator and we'll replace this mechanical squeezer for flint, since we are getting all of it that we could ever need over here. But this is a very sided machine. It's got to have inputs from the top, the back, and output out the bottom. So I think we will also get rid of this charcoal here. Well, maybe not. We only have 10 stacks of charcoal in this one. So instead, I think we'll move this alloy smelter up, and then the transmutator can go here, and the drawer for it will go here. So from the back, we'll send in blaze rods, and from the top, we'll send in dreaded shards of abyssalnite, and the output will get pulled straight out of the bottom and inserted into this drawer. But after having done that, our Necronomicon should be charged. So let's put this other one back in here. And then we're going to head back over to the Dreadlands, where we can kick off this craft for the Dread Crystal. Oh yeah! And that officially completes Chapter 14, and unlocks Chapter 15, which is Blood Magic and Evil Craft. But that's something we'll save for the next episode. For now, let's claim all of our quest rewards. And man, there's a ton of them this time around. I got my inventory full. We got this backpack, this multiplayer pack, from the quest rewards as well, which is also full. And we're exploding all over the ground. So I think this is a great place to end the episode for today. We got a lot done, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to drop down and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And goodbye.